Pregame.com.
The number 2 seed in the NFC, the Minnesota Vikings, are clearly the favorite to bring it home as far as the conference crown. It's Brett Powers from the Pregame.com studios. Just off the Vegas Strip, we're talking NFL playoff action, the NFC divisional round on Sunday. A good one for you, the Saints at the Vikings.
The Vikings hoping to win 2 playoff games, and then they would get to host the Super Bowl. Who do you like?
I like Minnesota here, not only to win the game, but obviously against the spread. We're taking the Vikings -4, but to me, it's all about the New Orleans defense being fatigued. They've dealt with several injuries, particularly in the secondary this year, and those injuries and that fatigue has really started to show in the last couple of games where they allowed more than 400 yards to Tampa Bay and more than 400 yards last week to Carolina, where they're on the field for 71 plays in 34 minutes, and now they're traveling. That defense really tired. That's why we like the Vikings minus the points.
The Vikings defense isn't going to be tired. They've had 5 straight home games where they've held their opponents to 1 touchdown or fewer, and now they go ahead and get a bye week as well. That'll be a fresh D.
Yeah, 3 blowout wins to close out the season, a bye week. And there's really no weaknesses on this Minnesota defense. Number 1 in total defense, number 1 in scoring defense, number 2 in rush defense, number 2 in pass defense, an elite defense that should be fresh and ready to go.
Now, the Saints defense was greatly improved, a surprise to many throughout the course of the year. But as of late, they've shown some weakness here on the road.
Yeah, they have. And what people are going to see is after that 0-2 start, which featured a 10-point loss week 1 on the road right in this building, hey, the Saints are 12-3. They're one of the best teams in the NFL. But you look at the last 3 road games, they've lost them all straight up, all by 4 points or more as far as those road losses. And where is the fatigue really showed for the Saints defense? On the road. It's easy to get pumped up and excited when you're in front of that raucous Superdome crowd. In this case, I think they run out of gas.
Let me talk power ratings in this game. I do have the Vikings as the very slightly better team here. And so in your handicap, I think you really have to weigh which is worth more. That Saints playoff experience, which is huge, really important. The Drew Brees and company have it. The Vikings do not have it. Or do you weigh more the home field advantage and the rest for the Vikings?
And that leads me into my second main handicap. I weigh the home and the rest a lot more than the playoff experience. You look at Minnesota, they've been absolutely dominant at home this year. 7-1 straight up, 7-1 against the spread, all 7 of their wins by 8 points or more. And then you look at the loss that they had against Detroit, which was a fluke. They outgained the Lions. They suffered through a couple of injuries in the game, including an ACL to Dalvin Cook. They're -3 turnovers. They should have won the game outright, and they dominate their opponents. They're outscoring them by 12 points per game.
Yeah, the Vikings in their new stadium have really been good. 12-4 against the spread there. And like you said, when they win, they tend to win in blowout fashion.
And I'm glad you just mentioned that. Also, this is the first ever playoff game in this new stadium. So this is at least a 4 points of home field advantage. And again, they put the hammer down. 11 of their 13 wins by 8 points or more this season, and especially at home where they really take advantage of their foes.
Should be a great game. Let's make it official.
Yeah, let's make this one official. We're taking Minnesota minus the points. It's about the Saints defense being fatigued. They dealt with several injuries this year, and it started to show up particularly in their last 2 games where they've allowed more than 400 yards to Tampa Bay and Carolina, and Minnesota dominant at home. How about 7-1 straight up and against the spread? 7 of their wins, all by 8 points or more, outscoring their opposed by 12 points per game. The only loss, a fluke to Detroit, a game they should have won. Add it all up, and the Vikings roll to the NFC Championship game. More videos at pregame.com.